So I'd like to call this meeting of the Londonderry Budget Committee to order. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and let's get to work. So, can I get a motion to open up public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's no public here. Can I get a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's done and out of the way. So first we have the Budget Committee reorganization and the election of officers. Before we start with that, just want to welcome both Nicole and Patrick to the Budget Committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so first up is the election of chair. Does anyone have an interest in running for chair?
Not me.
So I know I do. Is there anyone else?
I'd be happy to if no one else.
Oh. All right, so in this case, can we...
I nominate Joe for chair.
And then a second.
Oh, a second.
All right, so then I accept the nomination. Can I just, I motion that one vote be cast by the secretary since it's an uncontested race.
Yeah.
Second.
Oh, second.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and none
Aye.
opposed, and I vote in the affirmative. All right, up next is vice chair. Is there anyone with interest in running for vice chair?
I was interested in doing vice chair as opposed to secretary. I'm all set with that now.
Is there
Dang it.
anyone else? All right, so again, I would like to make a motion that the secretary cast one vote since this is an uncontested race.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, now we're off to secretary. Is there anyone with interest in being the secretary? All right, now usually what we do is we throw it on the newbies.
This is true.
Not that we'd know any better.
Yeah, so I do have to say there are advantages with being the secretary in your first year because you're taking down the information. You're learning a lot more, and figuring out the ropes, and just taking out the whole conversation. For the minutes, they have to be turned into Kirsten. Well, myself first, and then I'll send them over to Kirsten within 5 days after the meeting, so that they can be posted on the website, and then they're approved at the meeting.
I'll do it.
So,
Or I would throw my hat in the ring.
all right.
Is there, out of curiosity, any policy against using transcription software? I know that we're recording and that gets posted to
don't
YouTube at
think
some
so.
point.
I don't have a problem.
No,
It's funny, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, we should do that.
No, I see no. I see nothing against it. One thing, the minutes do tend to be a lot more concise than from the total meeting.
True.
Short and concise. So
Can AI do that?
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
AI can do that.
that's true.
Okay.
All right, so
I wouldn't get through my days otherwise.
Neither now.
all right, so can I have a motion for the secretary to cast one vote for Nicole as our secretary?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. All right, well, congratulations.
Yay.
Do you need help with AI at all? Because that helps a lot.
Do you mean for the
The notes,
Notes and
all
whatnot?
that,
I can look into it.
We come up with this thought as I'm done.
I'm so sorry. But like we have Patrick, he's like in the 22nd century here,
Pretty
and
much.
he's absolutely right. So,
Yep.
yeah, if you need help, let me know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at
Sure.
the options.
All right, so now let's get into the liaison assignments. So for liaison assignments, pretty much what we request is that you reach out to either the department head or if it's a board, the chairman of the board. Talk to them at least once a month. If you're attached to the school board or town council, I highly recommend going to the meetings, either in person or watching them online. And then you give us, you come back to the committee with any, if the departments, how they're running, if over or under budget, or if there's any plans from like the town or school board to either bring on grants, or there are going to be any upcoming projects that we'll see on the ballot in March. And then we'll go around at the end of every meeting and give our liaison reports. I recommend also writing them out and send an email to me, and then before the meeting, I will send an email to the entire board so that we can review them beforehand and we can talk about them either if at length if we want to, or just keep it straight to the point during that portion. So first is for a primary, and a secondary is for schools. So does anyone want to take the primary for the schools?
My kids did not go through Londonderry school, so I probably wouldn't be a good one for this.
All right, so I'll take the primary on that. Would anyone like to be the secondary?
I'll do secondary.
Okay.
What is it?
So-
It's just because there's a lot of stuff to.
Yeah, and also, it gives multiple people the chance to take a look.
Yeah, I like the school board meetings actually, so.
All right, now for town council. Is there anyone that would like to be the primary for that?
You want me to do it?
Yes.
Okay, I can do it.
All right, Jason. All right, anyone wants to take the secondary on?
What does secondary imply? Like a backup or just two
Backup.
people all the time?
So, yeah, essentially backup. When I was, my first year, I was a secondary for the school board. I always attended them, and I just sit with the other member of the budget committee, and he kind of like taught me the ropes and what to watch for. So maybe that would be good since you're new.
Yeah, I'll do secondary for the town council then.
Perfect. All right, now town hall.
I'd like to keep that if I can, because I was doing that last year. I don't mind doing it.
All right. All right, no one else wants to, so that's good. Kate for town hall. Now, Department of Public Works. You had that right, Jason?
No.
Who had that?
What?
Patrick probably
Patrick?
had it.
Oh, yeah, Patrick had it. All right, so that's free. That's open. Would anyone like DPW?
I can.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
sure.
Something
Cool.
new.
So Sarah for DPW. Now the police department. Does anyone want the police?
I'll take it.
Sure.
I'd like to keep fire too.
Yeah.
But,
Police and
no one
fire. You
wants-
want all the
well,
emergency services?
Well, I can take police then and continue with that. And
Okay.
you want to stick
Sure.
with fire? All right. So myself for police, Ryan for the fire department, CIP capital improvement plan. You had that, Sarah.
And then
Right.
Patrick.
Okay, and then another
I think
Patrick.
Patrick had that, yeah.
Yeah, last time.
Okay.
Are they doing anything with that this year? Because I was looking at the boards, like going through all the stuff, and the last time they met was like over the summer last year. They were supposed to have a meeting in December, and it
Yeah.
got postponed, and then nothing.
Yeah, it was weird.
So yeah, so I mean, I'll do it. It seems like it's a light lift, like it's not a big deal. Yeah.
I'd like it.
Okay, you can have it.
All right.
Anybody else?
all yours.
Okay.
All right, and something that's not on the list, but we added it, was having someone on the planning board.
Yeah, the pine
Do you want to stick with that, Ryan, or do you want
I'm
someone else
happy
take
to.
it?
I'm happy to. It's actually probably a candidate for a secondary too.
Okay.
Just because of the number of meetings and the length of some of these
I'll
meetings.
do the second.
All right, perfect. Ryan and Kate.
Thanks, Kate.
You're welcome.
And are there any other boards or departments where we should have a member of the budget committee present or in communication with?
I can't think of
Because
anything.
I don't think zoning
Nothing comes to mind, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean we can't.
in the future,
Yeah,
we can
definitely,
always, so. But you're thinking caps on over the next month, and if something pops up and you think that we should, the library, I forgot, that's not on this list. We need to attach someone to the library. Is there anyone that would like that?
I nominate Patrick.
Not exactly the question you asked. Sure, I'll take library.
Yeah, perfect, so we got Patrick for the library, and if there's, nothing else comes to mind for any other departments right now, or
No.
boards or personnel. Alright, as we go, we can add to the list if we want to. Alright, so next, discussion of election results. Let me pull them up. So for the most part, when the budget committee was 7-0, the town voted in favor, except for the
signs.
the signs, which got
Oddly.
crushed.
So weird.
I know, I saw that, I was like, okay.
But some of the council voted against that, right?
One,
Yeah,
Sean.
Yeah, and then for the
Full day.
full day kindergarten.
3%, we missed it by 3%,
Yeah.
that was disappointing.
Yeah, so we'll see. I was talking with one member of the school board, and he didn't seem that they would move forward with that again, since it's been defeated twice at the ballot. But we'll see what happens in this year. I don't know about you guys. Is that something that we would want to be vocal on, maybe requesting that the school board takes another shot at it for full day and the moving the school,
Yeah.
SAU office somewhere else? And regardless, I think the SAU office should be moved somewhere, and if we can make the space for it in the kindergarten and save money and stop paying that lease.
Yeah.
Patrick, do you know how much it costs? I'm just trying to fill you in. 14 grand a month.
Mm.
It's
Wow.
yeah,
For
Ridiculous.
SAU office lease?
Yes.
yes,
How many
it's
square feet?
463,000 for the year.
Wow.
Square feet, I don't know the square footage, but it's not necessary.
Wait a minute, 14,000 times 12 months doesn't add up to 400,000 and change.
I thought it was maybe it was 480 or something like, I don't remember.
I don't know.
That'd be like
I just know it's
40,000 a month
really
then.
wicked expensive.
It might be what's left on the leash.
Oh, maybe that's what's left, okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
And I don't recall how many years. Was it 3 more
I
years
think so.
I
until the
believe
lease
so.
expires?
Mhm.
Oh, that's
And-
closer then, okay.
And then we have to hope that the tenant will renew it, which in the past they said that they weren't worried, but who knows? If that space comes under new ownership, that could put the school district in a pickle and a bind for where to move to.
I'm merely guessing here, but is there any chance that this may not have achieved the required margin to pass because it coupled full-day kindergarten with SAU office move
You
I
had to
think
have
so.
both, yeah,
because of available space?
yeah.
But did people who went in to vote know that?
They should. My understanding is that, well, it was mostly talked about, I think, as full-day kindergarten, and I think that was kind of a miss in some of the publicity with it. I know they mentioned the school district office being relocated as kind of like, and we're moving the offices.
Mm.
Yeah.
It should have kind of been maybe a both type of thing. You know, I'm sad about this, not only because one, full-day kindergarten would have been great for like the early learners, but also it would have saved us like so much money on over the long run. So it would have paid for itself in 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But
Yeah, I do agree with you, Patrick. I think that had a major part of it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to answer your question, yes, I think we should be vocal and push for them to start talking about it now,
All right.
right? I think they didn't do a great job publicizing it, and I understand they came off losing a year ago. It took them a while to reinvestigate, rethink what the approach they were gonna take. Now they know this is a great option fiscally, and it's gonna work logistically. If they can start talking about it now, I think they have a much better shot. I understand the hesitation because no's no, but
Yeah.
Right.
But I think they have to lead with the savings, right?
Right.
So I think it was always the messaging always led with, we're gonna add this thing, and instead maybe it should have led with,
We're gonna save
gonna
the
save
district
money.
money by.
That should be the lead message, I think, because that's what people respond to.
Agreed.
The other thing I might suggest if they were here is talk about what's the alternative if it fails.
that's a good
Right.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe should this come up again and at the next deliberative, all of us be more vocal about our support for it and why we're supporting it. I think because in the tendency with these meetings is right, no one wants to add extra fluff or repeat the same similar points made over and over. But at something like deliberative or even the final budget session, it would be a good idea for each of us to pitch in if that's what you believe and go publicly supporting it at those meetings. Would you guys like me to approach the school board during public comment and say that the budget committee would like you to consider taking a look at this option or similar options, that as long as it's saving the taxpayer money in the long run.
If we wanted to, we can just make a motion to say advise, school board to do the X.
Okay.
I mean, that's totally within our purview.
Yeah, so
Look at you! I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'd like to make a motion that we advise as the budget committee, we advise the school board to take a look at options to move the SAU office building and start full day kindergarten in a similar manner that will save the taxpayers money in the long run.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Formality, is chair supposed to
Oh, and
make motions?
Correct. I'm not. That Jason's correct.
We can keep it.
Yeah, we'll keep it just in the future. I'll phrase it as would someone like to make the
Yeah,
motion.
accept the motion too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that failed. The body cams,
Passed.
they passed, but the
Both
officers
traffic officers failed.
failed.
Full-time librarian failed, but the part-time librarian passed.
Yeah, I think it was. My assuming for the part-time librarian passing was because it was a smaller
Much
Smaller.
more ask, yeah.
ask on the ballot. Yeah.
I don't know where you go from with the traffic officers. Like, what's the next step, right? Like, traffic's not gonna magically get better.
Right.
Cops weren't going to make it better either, but
Yeah, it was more of a band-aid. I don't
I
disagree.
totally agree.
So, like,
long-term solutions.
yeah, we'll pay for. Yeah, we'll go get a bond.
Yes, fully agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm cool with that. But is everyone else gonna go with that? We can't get a bond to save taxpayers' money. Like, you're not gonna get a bond for a roadway project.
I get it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just.
No, that's weird. I'm trying to think of anything that you guys noticed. Anything else that we haven't discussed from the elections?
The only thing about the election that I would point out is it took a very long time when I went to go vote to wait in line and have my ballot go all the way through. I waited in line for about a half an hour before I was able to put my ballot through the machines.
Yeah.
And I think going forward, if we're going to have these ginormous ballots, we need to probably have more ballot counting machines. My sister went to go vote and she couldn't wait in line to give them her ballot, and they had to rip her ballot up.
Oh, it's awful.
I saw that happen to a few people when I went. The line was really long,
Yep.
waiting for that, and people were having
Yeah,
a
I
hard
think
time
in
with
today's
it.
Londonderry Times, Jonathan Kipp was quoted as saying maybe another machine would make sense if I remember correctly.
At least.
Yeah.
Imagine you can predict it, like based on the number of sheets that you have. Like you must know how long a person stands up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
And then the time that it takes for it to be fed in
Yeah.
and make
Like-
the copies. Because I remember when when the Secretary of State's office was launching these machines and going and taking a look, that was one of the concerns that was brought up by moderators. For a federal election, fine, easy, one ballot,
Yeah.
that's not create much of a line, but for the March elections, there's a cause of concern. I guess, who do we have on town hall?
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not
right
town
now.
hall, actually I meant, my bad.
Town council.
Town council. Might be a good idea to ask if the council is looking at different machines, if they are, or just keeping with the same voting works, because regardless, these machines, they're gonna cost money in the long run, and the longer that people are there, also increase the cost of paying the workers that are working the elections. I know that there are complaints about lines as well for the federal elections. So I'm not sure if the council's. Remember the town brought up opening up a second location. That brings in additional costs
Yep.
with that as well. Staffing, police, fire, having everyone on board.
Do you
And
think
then
it would help with turnout, though? Do you think?
I don't think it really would affect turnout. We still had over 70% for the federal elections, and what was the percentage?
21 for March.
Yeah, and that's really good in comparison with prior years. So people were willing to wait. That was one thing, but it'll be interesting to see how they. Maybe that's something that we keep tabs on. See if they're going to move in a different direction or just keep it the same.
Just what about how many more residential units we want to have in town 3 years,
Yeah.
the next federal
Mm-hmm.
election. That makes me nervous.
Yeah. Because they'll either have to purchase more machines or. Sure.
Traffic.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
How to
right,
get into the
yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Traffic's more the bottleneck there now.
Yeah.
We ended up parking over at the middle school for the federal elections and walking over.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I parked on just another street entirely.
I got there at 5:30.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'm not doing
I
that.
love it.
Yeah. No, I thought I'd luck out for this election by getting there later. That did not work.
Yeah.
It was dead till 9:30.
Yeah. All right. So if that, does that conclude discussions about the elections?
Yeah.
Anyone else? So it looks like, for the most part, voters sided with us, unless it was a larger ticket item.
Yep.
Then, and we weren't unanimous in our support. Took it down.
Yep.
All right. So that's back to the. Once I grab it.
Spring agenda and goals.
Yes. So first, so we'll talk about what tours do we need this year. So something that we do is that we've done in the past is we've gone to the different facilities. We've gone with the department head, taken a tour. School's always locked in, and we're always invited to that. They host it for the public. I recommend that you guys definitely attend the school tours. Because they also talk about different improvements with maintenance that are going to come up in the budget. They'll be discussed later, and you can actually see it with your eyes. Do we still want to continue with touring the police station?
If we could get rid of any, I think that would be one we could get rid of.
Me too.
Okay.
I mean, what haven't you two seen? I guess what kind of let's
Yeah,
first
that's-
order.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah. So what departments have you guys not seen? So from what we usually do: library, DPW, police, fire. I'm not even gonna say
For
schools.
me, a DPW would be probably top of my list
Mhm.
because that's
Yes.
heavy capital equipment. That's ongoing maintenance. That's like a must-have, not
That's a good one.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think they are gonna talk about renovating DPW pretty soon. I know Dave last year was talking about timing on that. And it sounds like he's getting pretty close to wanting to present something. And so I think it would be good to, if that is going to happen, for us to go do the tour.
All right. So DPW definite.
100%.
What do you think, Nicole?
Yeah, I would be happy to.
All right. Fire. Now I missed last year's tour. Did you guys do all the firehouses? All right. What do you guys think about that?
That was a lot.
It's a long night.
Okay. Was it beneficial? Do you think it's worth doing again?
I think we should do a fire tour only at one facility and only if they have a big ask.
Mhm.
So I remember when I didn't make it last year, but the year before, they were talking about redoing a lot of like the HVAC stuff and then like showing us some of the alarm stuff. And yeah, I think going to all three buildings was helpful to a certain extent. But if they have a very large ask, I say maybe like central or whichever one has the biggest ask, you know, south, north, central, whichever, but
I think
One.
that's super fair.
pick one.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm okay with that.
So, all right. So, if you want to ask the chief now if he knows going into this upcoming budget season if which of the houses that there's going to be the largest ask for.
Probably self. But
Yeah. All right. I think schools are always on there, and we can throw that on the get that on the calendar.
I miss the SAU office. I think you went. Was it worth it?
it's
An office.
It's just an
yeah,
office?
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
office.
Okay.
It's a nice space,
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Shiny.
but
Like,
It's an
I
office.
just want to know their needs, but if it's literally just an office, then I know their needs.
there's no needs there.
Yep.
They need to get
I
rid
want
of
to go on an office tour after my office hours.
Oh my god.
Ugh. All right. Then next, so that covers the tours. Is there anywhere else that we
Did you
should
say
take a look?
library?
Oh, we didn't say library. Hey, did we?
I've seen the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to see it? We can do it.
Is there something to see beyond what you see when you go in the library? I mean, I know there's like
last
I'm sure
time we
there's-
went, because there's the water damage, that was at least beneficial to take a look at and listen to the process of how they worked with the insurance company to get things paid for, what's going to be redone.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other alternative is to have Erin at a meeting and explain her needs as opposed to going over there.
All right.
I kind of like that
They're
format
good.
idea for most of them, to be honest. We'll still do the tours, obviously, for like EBW and like whatnot, but like I kind of like that idea in general. Like my thought was, I don't know, I'm a nerd. I kind of want to like. So I emailed Kirsten about the annual town report. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Hoping it comes out soon. But like when that comes in, they usually put like key performance indicators in that for their own department, and then I'd kind of like to go. I'm gonna sorry, I'm gonna one, but I understand like cost drivers for every department,
Yeah.
and for I don't know, to normalize like town by town, and then get like comps for like each department for the fall, so you have be a little easier.
Okay. Yeah, let's definitely do that.
So I like the idea of having people come to us, be like, "Hey, does my data make sense? Does like what's a key performance indicator or key cost driver to you? Tell me your story."
All right. So that actually does lead into our next topic, which is speakers. Who do we want to come in? And we could also have, for the department heads, depending on who we bring in, have a list of questions that we send them beforehand and say, hey, can you come with these answers? And we can discuss and take a look. Who do we want to come? One?
The new town manager.
Yeah.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, totally.
All right. So town manager. Since we're not seeing the police station, do we want to invite Chief Bernard?
Yeah.
All right. We're going for the fire department tour, so do we not want to ask the fire chief, or do we still want to bring him in?
If we have questions, depends on the questions. I mean, like again, it's hard for me to say like who I want to see and who I don't want to see because I don't have the updated town report in my hand.
And if none of the facilities have big needs in the fire department, we might just be able to nix the tour and have them come in.
I
Okay,
think so too.
I like that. So we can discuss that more at the next meeting.
Yep.
All right.
Can I
DP.
request Rio, the dog?
Oh yes.
Oh man.
All right. So Rio as a guest.
Yes.
Okay, so then DPW. I think that the DPW tour is
Yes.
extensive enough.
Yes.
I guess if something happens between the tour and before we start getting into budget season, then it might be,
Yeah.
ask Dave to come in and we can pester away. But we'll leave Dave off for now.
I do think it would be still worth it to. Are we still talking about a tour there?
Yes.
Because I think it's really useful for you two to see it too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
in
that
dismal
too.
shape.
Oh God, yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's real
Okay.
bad.
Get to see all the rot and all the rust.
Yeah.
And lack of drainage and storage
Okay.
and.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do the toilets at least work?
Probably sometimes.
I mean, there is like need
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to point out.
Yeah.
Yes, there definitely is. 91A, I'm going to ask Kirsten to see if she can, because I'm sure that she can give us the basic rundown of 91A. Would we like to start that off our next meeting?
Sure.
Probably good to get that out of the way.
Yeah. And just,
If I may.
yes.
When you say get the rundown on 91A, you mean simply for her to explain how a 91A process would work if and when one comes, or what?
So it's more of so within 91A, it's also the rules that we're expected to follow. So one of those things is quorum. So when a group of us are together, we can't meet at a quorum without having a public meeting and discuss budget committee issues or items without having a noticed public meeting.
What
Something
constitutes quorum, 4 or 5?
Four.
4, okay.
So it's okay for you to ask like one at a time or text someone like, hey, let's think about bringing this up. But for all of us to meet together, like after this meeting ends, we can't all continue to discuss like this
In the parking
in a
lot.
group.
Right.
Yeah. Something else. So for email, so every email that you send and that you receive can be requested by a member of the public. So when you're using your budget committee email, use that just for budget committee purposes. Don't go using it to sign up for subscriptions or newsletters or attaching it to your Amazon account or anything like that. Just keep it strictly for the budget committee. Then when it comes to communicating with each other, since there's an email that's just that it'll send I believe it's like budget committee at tol.org. TLboards.org. And if you send an email to that, it goes to all of us, and that doesn't constitute a meeting. But you can't, CC everyone. So if I sent something out and I CC'd you all, like, hey, here's the agenda for next week, and then you replied, now that constitutes a meeting. There's a discussion there.
Like reply all.
Yeah, reply all. So if you have, so for the emails, my recommendation, email me, and then I can disseminate the information out to everyone that way so that we're keeping everything kosher. Also for 91A, those are the points I remember and I look out for. Kirsten can go into further detail of the do's and do nots, what's considered public information and what isn't. So definitely I will contact Kirsten about getting her on the board for April. Do we want to then do like police in May? Have Jupiter over here in May?
Sure.
All right. Or actually, we'll also add the town manager for April.
Doesn't he start June 1st?
Yeah.
Okay, June 1st.
So
for
he should come to the June meeting.
yes.
Okay.
Let's see. So that covers April, May, June.
Is Chief Bernard still chief and town manager right now? Is he doing both
Yes.
roles?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that somebody wasn't temporarily. We didn't have an interim chief, and okay.
Yeah.
That guy is probably so busy.
Yeah.
Does he live here now?
He was telling me that he's the last one out of the building. When he was driving back, he's doing a little bit of everything. The finance directors for the town and for the school department.
Yeah.
Should you guys want them on closer to deliberative? Maybe that, because we usually, we don't have a meeting in July,
Yep.
usually. And as we get closer, we can discuss if we need the meeting or if we can just skip it.
Yeah.
Same thing for August. Actually, have we? Well, yeah, because we meet with the school tours in
Yeah.
August, so no meetings in here. So September, October, do we want the two finance directors to
Yeah.
come in?
I think that'd be good. Who's the finance director for the schools?
Amity Smalls.
That's it, thank you.
She used to be my SAT prep teacher. She worked here.
Oh.
In there. Yeah, so I'll reach out to Justin and Amity and figure out which date works best for them. And then once for next meeting, or Ryan, if you just want to add, once you talk to the fire chief, and if there's no need for us to do a tour at one of the facilities, if you want to ask him what his schedule is and if there's a preferable date.
Will do.
All right. Any other speakers? Okay. So I think for goals for us going into the spring, before we even get to budget season, we should continue to be vocal like we were last time around with trying to figure out what are different boards and departments attempting to, what warrants are going to be on the budget, what big ticket items are going to come up, where are the cost increases, if there are cost decreases, where are they? So for Town Hall, I would be trying to find out, because I know Justin's been talking about right-sizing the lines.
Yep.
What does that look like for the next budget, for this upcoming budget that we're going to receive? Same thing, if there's, with the schools, I'll ask anybody if there's anything budget-wise or if they're going to continue on the trend of the budget decreasing, or if we should be expecting them for a larger ask, or if things are going to stay the same. And then just the same thing for all the departments. I'd ask them every month when you do your liaison report, what should we be expecting? Do you have an idea of what of what your ask is going to look like? What lines can we expect to see change drastically, or where's everything kosher, going to remain the same. What are items that they are going to want to bring on as a warrant that we're going to have to discuss, just so that when we go in to budget season, we also have more of an idea of what we're going to be looking at. And when we see the budget for the first time that November, it's not there are no shocks or surprises to us.
How much feedback does this board typically give departments on budgeting process? Do we kind of mind our own business and leave it up to the departments?
Pretty much.
And we just, the asks that we made are all done after the fact. So what will happen, so as I said at our last meeting, November through January, busy months. That's when all the department heads come. We have those budget meetings that can go on for hours over here and then at the school. And each department head, they'll bring up their budget, and then we can ask them big picture or line by line if there are questions. And we traditionally meet as well for our November and December meetings, discussing what's already been talked about, what are our thoughts, what are other questions that we want to come back in there for January before the budget is settled for deliberative.
Are the warrant articles settled at the same time, or is that part of the budget process? But
Yes.
during
We
that
work
time
with
frame.
town council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in early November, both the town, just the town, they have a big, each of the departments will present sort of their preliminary budget information and what warrant articles they're going to be asking to go on the ballot.
Got it.
So that was when, like for example, DPW mentioned, a couple of the new trucks that they wanted to buy. That was when the full-time librarian came up. That was when the traffic cops came up and the body cams and things like that. So they kind of give us a flavor of what they're going to try to be going for.
Got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
I think another good question for the town would also be, what are they planning on doing with the Lions Hall?
Supposedly we get the results soon, right? Their historical, whatever.
Yeah.
Was that
the
like the
survey?
$15,000 or something that we
Yeah.
paid for?
Haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still in flux.
Put some pressure on them.
Yeah.
They're getting those results out so
Yeah.
We
that
paid for it. I want to see that.
I have two other questions, if I may.
Yeah.
So, Jason, you mentioned being a nerd and, wanting those comps and all that, which is like music to my ears.
Yeah.
Typically, what's it been like in the past to get that information from the town departments? Do we get it in a usable format like Excel, etc.?
No.
And if not,
PDF.
and why wouldn't we request or get it in more usable formats?
We haven't.
I feel like that's a big burden on
But those
Justin.
I
PDFs come
don't.
from somewhere. That's not the source.
Right, but that's just, I'm guessing like a crystal report, like, just a report. So it's just how it spits it out is my assumption.
They use like an enterprise management software. You probably could export in Excel.
Yeah, it just looks like trash because I've done it. But yeah.
And I'm sure there's concern probably from Justin's end, if the data is put into an Excel file, what happens with that Excel file after it's been exported? Because if it looks official enough, maybe that data can be manipulated and then redistributed improperly. And it's like, well, I looked at this Excel file that looked exactly like, and this number doesn't match this number. And it's like, well, that wasn't, the official stuff. And so I'm wondering if there's some.
We can do the same thing with PDFs, though. It just takes a little more work.
Right, exactly.
I mean, at this point, I can reverse engineer any PDF and bring it into a tabular format, but why do all that extra work if I don't have to?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And that actually introduces more risk of inaccuracy if I get something wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The other question I had, because I noticed on the agenda it has public comment at the start. I know the town council, I believe, either has been asked to or has done that I think it's still a request, right? That there be public comment both at the start and at the end. Has that been requested of this board or considered?
So I was going to bring that up for the end, because I usually, when I've had stuff in for Patrick and chair the meetings, opened up public comment at the end. When Chad was the chairman, that's how it was done. We give everyone 5 minutes of public comment. We just ask that if they speak both at the beginning and the end, that it not be on the same subject that they brought up for public comment, that it be something else to add. I would like us to have another section of public comment at the end.
I thought we did.
We did.
A few times.
We generally just
Yeah.
open it if someone wants to talk.
That's
yeah,
true,
if someone
too.
shows up, we give them
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as like stringent as like an another board.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
Like if Ray wanted to talk one time,
Right.
opened it, he
Yeah.
talked.
Yeah.
Kevin
closed
Smith
it.
came in and
Yeah.
talked really briefly,
Yeah.
like in the middle of the meeting, and we
Right.
realized we hadn't actually closed public comment, so.
That's correct.
I guess I'm just saying from the perspective of the agendas on the public town website, there's
Yeah.
only public comment visible at the start, not at the end. So
Well,
just maybe for
we're gonna
public
adjust for
perception.
sure.
Yeah, I'll ask Kirsten to add public comment to the end.
Yeah.
Let's see. Before we, that covers the main points that we need to get cleared today. Is there any other discussion before we close out the meeting?
Yes, meeting schedules, so
Yes.
we were,
Yes.
technically we're supposed to be the third Thursday every month. We've been more recently the fourth Thursday of every month. Which one are we going with? Are we doing third or fourth?
I'm gonna ask what works best for you guys.
I'm open.
So originally we were the 4th. We got
Yeah.
pushed back to the 3rd, I believe because the larger room was taken on the 4th Thursday.
That's right.
now. That's why we originally went to the 3rd. So but
Okay.
I don't have.
I don't have
preference
strong
either way.
feelings either way. I just want it to be consistent, is all I'm asking.
Thank you.
So,
The only months that I will bring up one thing, the only issues that I can think of are on school vacation weeks, which are usually the last,
last
week
week,
of the
yeah.
month, and
Yep.
often people are away.
That's what happened last month, yep.
So
yeah,
I just wanted to
third-
mention that.
the
Third
week.
Thursday
third,
still?
third Thursday.
All right, so that means the next two meetings will be April 17th and let's see, May 22nd. We might as well just knock them all out now. June 19th.
Wouldn't it
Is
be
that
May
federal
fif-
holiday?
May
May
15th.
15th. for
May- Yes, you are correct. May 15th, not the 22nd. Okay, so Juneteenth, is that a federal holiday?
It is, so it might not be able to be held that day. We might want to move it either back a week or forward a week.
Let's handle June at the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll just go through May, and then as we continue,
Okay.
plan
Well,
on
I'll
the
just
rest.
put April and May in the meeting minutes.
Yeah. All right. And do you also want to meet in Sunnycrest, or would you prefer to be at Moose Hill?
Doesn't matter.
I mean, I like Moose Hill, but I think I'm a little biased towards it if there's a speaker.
Okay.
Like,
Good point.
Makes it easier for them to present as well.
yeah.
Yep.
You know.
All right. So All right. So once I figure out when we have our speakers, if we have a speaker, we'll meet at Moose Hill if it's available, and if it isn't, we'll just ask them to get in early so that we can figure out this TV.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
Should probably do that anyways. That'd be nice.
Well, I'll put down my list of things to ask Kirsten. Utilizing the TV because we can then utilize it during our meetings. Any other topics for discussion before we close it out? All right then. Well then, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. So our next meeting will be April 17th at we'll just say for now, the Sunnycrest Conference Room, 7 p.m.
Good.
If it changes, I will email it to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.